Hey guys, Ian here. Today we are going to do the installation of carrier bearing. And so, here we go. All right guys, so we are under the truck and there are two carrier bearings on the ridgeline and there's one carrier bearing on the passport and the pilot. And so we're just going to do this front carrier bearing today because it's the simplest and easiest to show. Things to keep in mind, my truck does have a Traxta 3.5-inch lift kit on it, along with a couple other modifications. So this hardware that I'm going to be taking out is not it's not the factory hardware. These bolts are longer, but you do not need longer bolts. The factory bolts are sufficient. So when you order the part, you're just going to get the carrier bearing. And as you can see here, this is what mine looks like. It's been on the truck now for several thousand miles, and we're going to be reinstalling it and not installing that nice new one that I showed you just a second ago. So here we go. We're going to take out, got my trusty ridiculously long extension, and we're going to go ahead and take out the bolts. Okay, as you can see, these are way longer than they need to be. And you're definitely going to want to hold on to the drive shaft when you take the bolts out, because as you can see here, it falls down. So be aware of that. And then we're going to go ahead and install the part. So the easiest way to do it is to just come over the front, and it lays in here. So it is going to space down the drive shaft. Then you can take a bolt and run it. We'll go on this side. You might stand a chance of showing you better. So we're going to go back through here, and then I'm going to actually use my knee to do this. Now if I had another hand or another person, obviously I could do that as well. But this is the hardest part, I'm not even going to lie. This is where you're going to struggle to get this thing to start. But once you get the bolt to start, it's quite simple, and you can carry on with the installation. So I'm getting 3 or 4 threads in there, that way this doesn't fall back out on me. And then we're going to put in the other bolt. Now I'm going to get this one started as well. Although it's fighting me, but we'll get it. Might not be something that I'll be able to start by finger tightening it. I'd like to, and keep the wrench out of the situation altogether. But you never know. Okay, I feel like I've started some threads over here. Nothing extreme, but so either way, what we're going to do now is you can actually take your socket. You can set it up inside here. Run this right through the service hole, and then that's on. And so now you can tighten this down. I'm just going to start that one a little bit more because I really want to make sure I get this one right on the other side. So I'm going to pull it straight back down, just dislodge the socket on top. Repeat over here. It's easy to put the socket in from the back, and then I'm just catching it and putting it up through. So I'm going to turn this by hand a little bit. I really want to see what it's doing. Okay, I did get it to start. I wanted to make sure that I got it to start before I hauled off and threw the power ratchet on it. No need to damage anything. Okay, as you can tell, these bolts are far too long, and I should probably switch to something shorter, but I don't have anything sitting around, so I'm gonna run with it. These bolts were provided as part of the Traxta kit. and our 17 millimeter head M10 bolt. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten it with a hand tool. I'm just snugging these down, probably somewhere in the order of about 30, 35 foot-pounds roughly. Happy with that, and we're done. So this process is pretty easy to do, as you just saw. You've only going to be here for a few minutes, but now you're protecting this front carrier bearing. All right, guys, well, that's a wrap for the install of the carrier bearing skid plate on the ridgeline. And the procedures are going to be the same whether you have a Pilot or a Passport. And in those cases, the bearing's actually going to be located down by the gas tank cross member. So there's a few more pieces down there, but the theory is exactly the same. It's 2 bolts. You bring in the carrier bearing and bolt it up, and you're back in business. So.